Welcome. Welcome, everybody. It's really lovely to see everybody. Amanda might sneak in late, so she might go in between, but don't worry about it at the moment. She'll pop behind you over there, Jill. So, where are we going today? We shall see. Probably a bit of the core, and I'm going to start on our back today. So what I'm going to get everyone to do is to come onto your back, and we're going to do that because we're going to engage our glutes and we're going to just work with our breath just to start with. So bring yourself slowly down to your backs and just allow your whole spine to connect with the mat. And as you do, maybe bring the feet out to the edge of the mat, bring the knees together. And just for a moment, pause with the breath. Just bring your awareness to that rise and fall of the breath. And in Power Yoga, it's really important to connect the movement with the breath, that inhale and the exhale. So we're just gonna, while we're not moving at the beginning, just take a moment. And then we're going to just bring the feet in line with the body. And we're going to come into a bridge pose. So you could bring your hands gently to the side of the mat. And as we do, we're going to peel the hips up to the sky, keeping the knees in line with the body. And just push through the hips and really squeeze the glute muscles. So just really squeezing and push into the arms, feeling back the arms on the mat. Keep a little space between the chin and the chest. And then just relax all the way back down to the mat. Let's take a pause here. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, lift the hips up to the sky again, squeezing the glutes. We don't always do this in bridge, but just at the beginning of this practice, we're going to just say, hello. And then all the way back down again. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift and squeeze again all the way through, keeping the knees in line with the body, the hip points. And maybe bring the heels up off the mat. So you're coming onto your tiptoes into a little bridge heel lift. All the way back down to the mat. Keep one foot anchored to the mat and lift the right leg, if you want, to the left leg to the sky. So all the way through. And then take your leg, the hands just behind the back of the leg, and then draw the knee into the body and just take a wiggle of the ankle. Just move the ankle. Really feel the base of the spine press into the mat. Lift that leg all the way to the sky. Let go again. Lifting through and pulling the toes towards you. Swapping legs, lift the opposite leg to the sky. Give it a wee wiggle and a stretch, lifting through. Grabbing the back of the leg where it's comfortable, drawing the knee towards you and taking a wiggle of the ankle. Pushing it all the way through back to the sky. And then bring both feet to the sky. Bend in the knees if you need to. And then slowly draw the right heel away from you as you lift the left knee towards you. We're hovering. And then we're going for a cycle. Draw the right knee, come backwards in your cycle. So drawing the knees towards you. Yogi bicycle. Really slowly. Reversing that bicycle. I always think it feels like I've got square wheels on this bike, but never mind. Pushing through the heels, drawing the knees towards you. Really slow movement, as if you're cycling through treacle, if that's a thing. and then knees into the body. Maybe take the hands to the knees and gently peel the nose towards the knees. So coming into a little lift here. Hovering here with your breath. Take an inhale and an exhale. Draw the core all the way in, the belly to spine as you're doing this. And then gently release the head to the mat. Interlace the fingers, bring the thumbs behind you, elbows out wide, and draw the knees away from the body a little bit. But make sure your spine is really supported by the yoga mat. And then we're going to just take a little bit of a push up here. So pulling up, little crunch, gently, just drawing the elbows up a little bit, couple of inches, and all the way down. Inhaling when we're back on the mat, exhaling as we lift. Inhaling as we go back down, exhaling as we lift, waking the core up. Just gently back and forwards. Knees into the body. Take a pause here. Really just circle the knees. Let's get some movement here. Maybe this knee circling this own circle. Two little circles going on here, back and forth, or one. And now if you are on a thinner yoga mat, be careful with this. We're going to just cross at the ankles and just roll ourselves all the way up the mat, back to seated. Well done. Starting there. So now we're going to relax the shoulders and we're going to inhale, look at the sky. Exhale, right hand to left knee, coming into a gentle twist. Just breathe gently here, all the way up again, and across to the other side. Draw the right hand to left knee, so we're rolling ourselves all the way down into a little cat, seated cat. And then draw the hands forward, stretching through the side body. And as we do, we're going to just roll into a little cat-cow. So, Karen, you might want a little blanket under the knees if that's quite pinchy. So I just it just because it's thin, pennies. So we're just going to come to a stack back position here, and let's really think about our hands. So let's spread the fingers gently. Index fingers facing forward, pushing into the thumb, the first finger, and then spread the fingers. And really pushing into the knuckles. Gaze down towards the thumbs. Tuck our toes, take an inhale. And on the exhale, come to hovering cat. In hovering cat, you can play in hovering cat. Believe it or not, you could lift a knee. You could do one-legged hovering cat. There we are. You can play here just to get a little bit of heat into the practice. Do a little bit of hopping back and forwards if you want to. I notice nobody's joining me at the moment. Well, nearly. Or you could keep your hovering cat. And then bring the knees all the way down. Walk your hands. We're going to come up to our toes. If you do have a block, you're very welcome to use the block. Just to, if you find the toe squat just a bit difficult, you can bring the knees to. Anybody want to borrow a block? Are you okay? Hands up, you're all right? You can either come to the toe squat here. It's just giving you, some people don't like this, but you can soften it by bringing yourself forward onto the block. We're just going to play here. And then we're going to bring ourselves into a forward fold. So lift the hips, keep a little bend in the knees, and come into Uttanasana at the back of the mat. We're going to play here. If you have a block and you want to really engage the inner thighs, you can always put a block between the legs here at the bottom on the soft part. Or you can make sure that your feet are parallel to the edge of the mat, the edge of the feet, and really think about engaging the feet and pressing them into the mat. Inhale, flat back. Hands might come all the way to airplane arms if you wish. Still with that block, pushing that block in if you want to. And then inhale all the way to the sky. Right hand's going to take the left hand, the wrist, and come over to the right hand side. Take a little stretch here, all the way to the other side. If you have a block, still pressing into that block, it's going to work your legs. Yay. All the way into a nice big W, and drop the chin if you want to. As we inhale, lift to the sky, maybe hands to high prayer. Gaze to the thumbs. And then we're going to take our hands, we're going to come to a forward fold. So bend the knees and then allow the hips to rise. Keep the knees bent as much as you want. You can still do this if you're holding the block and you don't have to have a block. We're going to walk our hands forwards into a plank. And those of you who don't have yoga blocks are going to be really pleased that they don't have a yoga block. And then we're going to walk ourselves all the way back up to that forward fold. And if you want to borrow one, take one of mine. Don't be shy, just ask. Inhale, lift all the way to flat back. And then sweep all the way up to the sky. Anybody like to borrow a yoga block? Going once, going twice, no offers. Oh dear. And all the way forwards into forward fold. Walk your hands back into plank. And while we're in plank, it would be rude not to. We're going to just take a little forearm plank. You can always keep your knees down if you want to. It's called power yoga, Vicky. No moaning on the left-hand side, thank you very much. You can always soften your knees to the mat, and then just that allows you that little bit of softness if this is a wee bit of a at the beginning. Push yourself back up to plank. And then we'll take a rest in downward facing dog. So walk your hands, so bend your knees, push your thighs and your belly towards your thighs, and then allow the legs to straighten a little. If you've got a block, I'll let you just pop it to one side. Coming into thrown to one side. Coming into downward facing dog. That's brilliant. Lovely shapes in the room. Bend the knees, which will allow you just a little lift. Try not to push through the head, through to the shoulders. Just let it relax. And allow the forearms and the triceps to push together, feeling a real support from the shoulders when you do that. And that keeps our shoulders firm. Bend the knees, look forwards and hopple step to the top of the mat. Into that forward fold, again, bending as much as you need. Inhale, flat back, your version. And then all the way lifting to the sky. Hands to the heart. From a really cold winter's day outside, it's actually quite cozy in here today. I think it's, yes, I don't know why, just maybe the wind's not whistling so much. Don't know. Anyway, maybe it's different lighting. We'll come to the top of the mat. Really, Joe? Or a plank at the beginning? No, never. Coming to a mountain. See if you can challenge yourself if you want to, bringing the feet a little closer together. Edge of the feet, see if you can have them parallel to the mat, and see if that gives you a little extra lift, as if you've got that block between the legs. We're going to sweep the hands to the heart. We're going to bring the hands to the heart, and as we do, we're going to sink at the knees and the ankles into a little Utkatasana. Again, the block, if you have, you can press it in between the knees this time. And you can really work the inner thigh if you've got a block between the knees. Inhale, and as we inhale, draw the core nice and tight. It allows that tailbone just to tuck a little bit. And we're going to take a revolved chair here. We're going to inhale. And as we do from this midline, this midpoint in our back, we're going to exhale. So we're turning to the right-hand side. We're not turning using the lower back. That's what we're doing. So Karen, if you put your hands like this and do a little robot move, can you feel kind of turn here in the midline of the back? Yes. Rather than the base of the spine. That's where we're going. So inhaling, and then that draws you over. Come across to into the middle, and on an inhale, we then move on the exhale to the opposite side. Getting into that thoracic spine area, still pressing into the block, ladies. It's really good for the inner thighs and the Mula Bandha. All the way back, and then we're going to just forward fold gently. Inhale, flat back. Sweep to the sky. And then all the way down. Now we're going to play with a pose here, and it's two bits added together. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave our right foot at the front. We're going to step our left foot to a warrior two position. So nice and wide. And then sink into that front knee, except we're not going to use the arms yet. We're going to take a dog warrior. So what we're going to do, which is why I've got my right foot nicely spaced to the opposite side of the mat, almost like a lizardy kind of warrior two. We're going to just take our hands and come off the mat as if we're using the arms of a downward facing dog. You can come to fingertips. So we've got a hip stretch going on here. Really push into the feet, the heel at the front. If it's comfortable, the back edge of the back foot, and if not, just into the toe, the big toe joint, the heel, and make sure that foot is really nice and firm on the mat. Walk your hands to frame your foot and come into a little lizard lunge. So we pivot on that back foot. So Karen, that back foot pivots. So your toes, that's it, are facing forwards, the hips facing forwards. Brilliant. Anchor the left hand, if you've got your right leg, at the front and open to a twist. And we're going to take this arm for a walk. So we're going to take it to the back of the mat and come all the way forwards. Now just working those legs, pushing into that front heel. Really slow movements. Doesn't have to be fast to be powerful. And then all the way forwards, back into that warrior two dog kind of pose. Dropping that back heel at the back. That's it. It's a hippie one for you there. Hippie pose. And then we're going to frame our foot, pivot back so that back foot's facing forward, step to plank. Now, just take, if you want, knees can come down. You can just take a little arm dip here. We're going to take 3, just little chaturanga press up. Little, keeping the elbows, not splaying out. And then come to a vinyasa that you're comfortable with. It might be knees down. It might be that the hips dive back, the chest and the chin come all the way to Bhujangasana. We lift up to Bhujangasana. Or you're an up dog. Wherever you are, we're going to meet down on the mat here. So bring yourself down onto the mat. Hands are going to come out to fingertips here. And as if we're pointing the elbows up to the sky. Now be careful of the shoulders, gently. We're going to push into the fronts of the feet. But we're going to lift ourselves up, little power stretch here. And then if you want to, you can bring a shoulder forward. But any shoulder injuries, just be mindful of this, please. Don't want any muscles being stretched or torn or shoulders hurting. Using the arms here. I had the whole way from Edinburgh to Inverness yesterday looking at yoga things on my phone. I'm like, yes, I like that. All the way, because I wasn't driving, obviously, into Bhujangasana, having said that online, recorded. Sorry, Mr. Policeman. Tuck the chin in, Bhujangasana, lift yourself to Cobra. Push all the way back. Take a stretch all the way through the body. So an active child's pose here, toes might even be tucked.
Bring yourself all the way forwards and then lift up. We're going to come to downward facing dog. So push the chest towards the legs. Walk your legs if you need to. Push the arms towards each other. Try not to sink back between the arms. So push the arms, then allow the neck just to relax, just head to drop. Bend the knees, lift the hips. And then up and over to plank, as if you're going over a big beach ball. All the way back to downward facing dog. Make sure the hips are in line with the body when we come into plank. So as we come up and over into plank again, if you feel your hips sinking forwards, draw them up a little bit. So draw that, that's it. Push away from the mat, gaze to the front of the mat. All the way back up to downward facing dog. And step, hop, jump to the front of the mat into forward fold. Bending, if you've got any lower back issues, I really strongly recommend bending the knees as much as you want to. Inhale, flat back. And then draw yourself all the way up. And if you've got any water or anything like that, do take some and take a shake, take a shuffle, take a little wiggle, wiggle the hips, give it back a rub. Mine is not behaving at all this week. So allow yourself just a moment. And when you're ready, come back to the top of the mat. You might even, when you're in mountain, give yourself a little neck massage. There's 2 points that we can find on our neck just here, and it's quite nice just to give yourself a little bit of neck love. Maybe giving the shoulders a bit of love. And just taking a moment before we do the other side. So we're going to do that warrior 2 downward doggy thing. Hasn't got a name, just a stretchy, powery thing. So here we go. So again, we're going to play in chairs. So if you have a block, want to borrow one, you can put the block between the legs. Really recommend getting a set of blocks. They're quite good. Does anybody want to play one? Can't persuade you. Right, so push the block between. And as you sink, it also helps you in your chair pose to keep tailbone tucked in. Because you're pushing, so you're really engaging the glutes, you're engaging the inner thighs. It's really good. And then inhale, whatever side you want to. We're going to take that little twist, that revolve chair pose. Make sure you're not curling the toes, so really push into the feet. All the way back to center. Inhale. Keep pushing into the block across the other side. All the way back to center. Drop the block carefully. Take a little forward fold. You can step or hop to plank if you wish. There we are. Coming up to downward facing dog, your version. Just because we're in downward facing dog and we can, let's see if you can balance on one hand and lift one hand up. Just gently, even if it's just an inch off the mat, and you're hovering the palm. Feeling that balance, that strength, that connection. We're going to just connect the right foot now and lift the left up into a little tripod, into a 3-legged dog. And bring that left foot all the way forwards to the front of the mat, back into that lizardy kind of position. So it's just towards the edge of the mat. That's brilliant. Dropping that back right foot. And this is a bit of an exploration of feel and shape as well. We're going to come up just into a little warrior pose, hands to the heart at the moment. And as we do, you might want to sink a little deeper into the knee than you normally do, or widen the stretch if you want to. Really great if you can get that thigh parallel to the mat. You might want to try. And then we're going to come to this warrior dog. There we are, that's the name for it, warrior dog. And as we do, we're going to come forward off the mat and just allow, you can push as much as you want into that front foot. Don't curl any toes. I have to get another mat. This one has gone so slippy. Never use cleaning fluid on the yoga mat. Unless I can salt scrub it, that will work. And really allow that front heel to push into the mat. We are activating muscles in this practice, really pushing into them. Frame the foot with the hands, pivot on that back foot, come into this little runner's lunge. Take the gaze forwards. Drop that back heel. In fact, I've forgotten one pose. Keep that front runner's lunge. And then what we're going to do, we'll leave the right hand on the mat. We're going to open up into that twist again. And very slowly using that arms, just really thinking about the activation through your feet, pushing into that taller back. Really slow. Really feel my legs working. Bringing yourself back to runner's lunge. Anchor that back foot in a warrior pose. As we rise up, push through the feet. Feel that in the legs. Oh, it's a nice one, that. See, power yoga doesn't have to be fast at all. Slow but deadly. I always your pause while we're in here. It's great. The evil block is the entitled social media pose. The evil block. And I've got an entire practice with yoga blocks. So I keep meaning to get some more so I can come them out. But just allow yourself. We're going to come into that warrior dog again. Obviously, yoga's not evil and blocks are not evil. Just putting that out there. It's just a funny sense of humor among yoga teachers. So we're going to come all the way down to that warrior dog again. If you want to, you can walk that foot across into a bit more of a lizardy kind of pose here into our warrior dog. Really activating the feet. So the more you push into the feet, the more the legs will engage, the muscles will work. And then frame that foot, pivot on that back foot. Vinyasa or take a child's pose for a good few breaths. So either one is fine. If you're vinyasa-ing, hold your plank. Play with the plank. Maybe you come to forearm plank. I'm encouraging you in this practice to play with shoulders, arm movements, chaturanga dips, or just have child's pose. And we're going to meet in child's pose. Allowing yourself just to bring the hips back, reset, and allow yourself to bring the forehead, maybe to the forearms or to the mat, sinking those hips back, having yourself just a moment, noticing your breath. Rolling the back up all the way. Keep the knees on the mat here, just in little stacked back position. Walk the hands gently forwards. So we're kind of almost feeling like our core is slightly loose here, with the knees slightly back. And we're going to bring our forearms down. And as we do, we're going to extend the right leg back. And then lift that right leg, bend the knee. And just take a few glute pulses here with the gaze gently down towards the mat, keeping the knee facing forwards to the mat. So it doesn't need to come high. Otherwise, what happens is the hip that starts to kind of the hip muscles start to work and you start to turn that knee out of the hip kind of joint. So just pulsing. Something under your knee if you need to support the knee. Mat's pinching. Bring one knee down, extend the other leg long. Bend at the knee. And again, just take some little glute pulses here. Gaze, keep the gaze really low, straight down towards the mat so that your neck is part of your spine. It's not lifting or bending away from that. And then sink all the way to the mat. And we're going to come up into that Sphinx pose, Egyptian lion. So hands slide forwards. You can always take the elbows out if the lower back needs a bit of softening. This is quite a pinchy pose for you. If not, bring yourself up. Maybe drop the chin and just enjoy a very slight lower back stretch. If it's hurting or pinching, soften the elbows and bring yourself lower in the top body. To activate this even more in a power yoga class, we push into the forearms as hard as you can on the mat. Again, if that irritates the lower back, soften. Pushing into the pelvis. Bring yourself all the way down. Bring yourself to that elbow position. Lift yourself up into a different cobra. Remember, you can play with the shoulders here. Or if you're just enjoying that kind of stretch up and down. And then we're going to lift all the way up into a plank. Moving into downward facing dog, walking into downward facing dog. Bring yourself stepping to the center of the mat. Bend the knees as much as you need, taking a forward fold here. You can have straight legs if your back's perfectly enjoying straight legs. That's absolutely fine. You know what's right for you. Inhale, flat back. And then we're going to roll all the way gently, all the way up, all the way hands to the heart. And we're going to take a moment. If you've got water, keep drinking this water. I think we'll come to the front of the mat. Allow yourself, when you're ready, into Tadasana. Just always make yourself comfy in class. Absolutely fine to take time. Right leg's going to be the one that's lifting here. We're going to lift all the way to the spine. And we're coming to Virabhadrasana 3, but the leg doesn't have to rise and the arms can come behind us. So remember, we can come to Virabhadrasana 3, which is quite low, or you can lift yourself into any version that you want. We're going to bend that standing leg and come into a little curtsy. Push all the way back up. Push all the way forwards. To that one-legged mountain. This is very tricky. Maybe the ankle comes across into a little figure of 4. All the way back up. Don't worry if you're wobbling. Wobbling is what we do to balance. So that's actually the right thing to do in class. There we are. All the way back. Virabhadrasana 3. Your version could be the foot on the mat behind you. Little curtsy, so bending that standing leg. All the way back up. Let's rise all the way to one-legged mountain. Foot goes out. Look at where your hip flexors are moving to now. Wobbling is good. And then all the way to mountain. Shake it out. Give it a shake out. If you're going to the yin next, you can just sleep. It's fine. Allow yourself onto the other side. So now you know where we're going. Into mountain. Find that connection. Lift all the way, one-legged mountain. feel that wobble. We've talked about wobble before in class. It's good. We're lifting the body up to lift ourselves into these balances, into little Virabhadrasana 3. Bending into little curtsy pose. Virabhadrasana 3. Let's go forwards all the way back into this one-legged mountain. Virabhadrasana 3. Let the foot wobble, let the ankle do its job and find that point of balance. If we're trying to have a rigid ankle, we're not going to be allowing it to do its job. Little curtsy. We'll call it wobbling yoga. All the way. That's it, all the way up. Maybe pushing through that heel at the front. Maybe taking a little figure of 4 by coming into. Allow yourself. And then it's because everyone's wobbling and I'm encouraging it. And then come all the way back to, well done. We're going to come all the way down to the mat. Yay, I hear you cry. Is it nearly over yet? She said she had a quiet class tonight. Right, we're going to come to our backs. Allow yourself slowly to roll down. And maybe come into that constructive rest pose where the feet are just gently on the outside and the knees come together. Just take a moment with the breath. Just allow that breath. Notice where you are. Maybe windshield wiper the knees back and forwards. If you feel that you would like to and it would help, bring yourself into a supine twist. So knees stack, feet stack, and we just draw ourselves very gently so the shoulders, the back of the shoulders still on the mat. And you can always bring the hands out to the side or you can bring them into the body. Just one side and the other, just allow whatever feels right for you at this point in the practice. If that's just rocking up and down on the mat, that's fine, or knees into the mat. Another thing that's quite nice to do at the end of a practice is to do half happy baby. So one foot on the mat, bend the knee, bring the knee towards the chest, take the hand inside the instep and push kind of into the hand. So we're really dropping the tailbone to the mat. Play with this. I'm just giving you some movements just at the end of the practice. Rolling up and down the mat. Shoulder stands, head stands, whatever you fancy doing. Legs up the wall. Rolling. If you're at home, you can keep the practice going if you want. Eventually, joining me back in seated. Rolling the shoulders as we go. And then find a place of stillness just in our seated pose. Lifting the right hand to the sky. Right hand's going to come to the left knee, which is going to come across into a twist. Lifting the left hand to the sky, and across the other one. All the way back to center. And just draw yourself up so that you're not locking the spine up. I don't want you to arch the back and really rock the spine up the way so it's not comfortable. I want you to just draw a little length into the spine so that you can feel that you're not slouching,
You're not over egging it by drawing kind of right up into the spine, but you found that kind of, so it's not meerkat. So we found that comfy space. Just allow the shoulders to relax. Connect with the breath again. Drawing the hands gently together at the heart. Taking an inhale. And exhale. And thank you very much for joining class tonight. I'm just going to switch the recording off. If you're staying online, please do be in. If not, I'll see you tomorrow, some of you. It was lovely to everyone. And then let me just stop the recording. I'll stay online